your truth authentically. I'm your host, LaKitia Woodard, and I am here and ready to have another moment of truth with you to help you build the confidence that you need to walk into your greatness. And tonight's episode is brought to you by A Sister's Truth. Connect with your sister coach today to learn how to use self-awareness as a tool to embrace your purpose, overcome fear to build confidence, and to create meaningful relationships. Your sister coach is there to help you by giving you the hard truths that you don't want to hear but need most in order for you to live the purpose-driven life that you deserve and desire. But your sister coach will give you those hard truths wrapped in love and tied with inspiration about. So make sure to go over this episode to asisterstruth.com to connect with your sister coach today. So, you guys, I am super excited about tonight's episode. I say that every week because every week I'm super excited to have a conversation with my guests. And on tonight, I'm going to be talking to the amazing Brionya James.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Isn't she gorgeous?
That's you.
Oh my goodness. And so you guys, on tonight, we are on location at the African American Cultural Museum where Brionya's artwork is on display.
Yes.
You know, I wanted to shoot this episode in front of this beautiful mural. Isn't that gorgeous, you guys?
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, it's gorgeous. I was telling her before we got started that when I saw her paint this on Instagram, she did like a little video on Instagram. I didn't really know what she was doing. I'm like, I didn't realize that she was doing it here. I'm like, Brionya paint a mural. Okay, no big deal, but no, it's here on display. So it'll be on display for about another week or so at the time we're shooting this video. So definitely come down and check it out. I put all the information in the description below. But Brionya,
yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for saying yes to having a conversation with me tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate it. For you reaching out and just allowing me to be a part of this. I think it's impactful. And just to know that I'm a part of just the list, it's like, that means enough, a lot to me, so.
Oh yes, absolutely. The very first time that I saw you, okay, so I start off every episode just telling the audience how I met or know the person that I'm interviewing. Brionya and I went up to her and talked to her at a conference last July. Can you believe it's a year later?
Yes.
It's been a year. So there was a conference over in Pearland. And so Brionya was one of the guest panelists that was there. And her story, when I heard her story, oh my God, y'all know I'm a crier. I was in the audience crying. And I was like, I definitely have to go and just say hello, give her my business card, and make a connection. I will let her talk about her story a little later because I'm pretty sure it's going to come up in conversation. But her story, it's just have so many twists and turns, and I can relate on so many different levels. Mm-hmm. And just to hear her journey or how she started doing all this beautiful artwork and just, gracing us, blessing us with her talent is just amazing. So just listen to her story, over a year ago when I started the show, I was just like, oh yes, I'm definitely going to get her on the show. And originally, I wanted her on the show last year when I started the show back in August for all you old heads who've been following me for a while. But we was just able to connect, and everything happens in divine time.
Yes, it does. Because I remember receiving your email and I flagged it. But if you see, my fiance gets on my case all the time. Like, I have over 4,000 emails.
Oh my goodness.
And I could say that yours is probably out of the 100 that I flagged, and I just never had the chance to get back to. Mm-hmm. But knowing that you had walked up to me, I think we were at Queen Sip and Share, mm-hmm. and for you to bring it up again, I was like, yes, I didn't know because it was literally on my priority list. So I'm just thankful that God had brought it back together, because I feel like this is definitely a good stepping stone for both of us. So
I really appreciate absolutely that. And you're gonna be such a blessing for all who's watching us tonight. I already know that's the reason why I have her here on the show. So Brionya,
yes ma'am.
We already know that you are an amazing artist, but tell us a little bit more about you and your business.
Okay, so for those that don't know, my name is Brionya James. Some pronounce it Brionya, onion, anything that you can say, yes, but it's Brionya. And I am actually from Austin, Texas, but I reside currently in Houston. And I will be transitioning soon to overseas, settling in Italy. But as far as BJC, how it has grown into this beautiful rose, this beautiful flower, it's definitely been a journey. It's been a long time coming, but I think this just, it speaks about my soul. It speaks about my vision. Any piece or, each piece that you come across literally has its own meaning. Some may have its own personal poems. I just want to bring you into a world that I can not necessarily say that I can express sometimes in words. So being the only child, I was always shy. And my mom was very protective over me because I was her only baby. So I think that came a lot with just me being closed in and having my own little world. And a lot of times I would just either be at school and working or in my room and drawing. So never in a million years would I thought I would be, having my work presented in a museum or, even work just being international, just having, supporters from worldwide, just letting me know how much that my work speaks to them. So BJC is more than just artwork. It's a brand, it's a mission, it's a statement to be able to impact people's lives and, kind of ignite that love and that divinity and that beauty within yourself. So when I want you to look at my work, I want you to see a part of you that you never knew was there, or a part of you that you're afraid to tap into, but knowing that God has blessed you with a specific gem inside of you. So
I love that.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness, I love that. And once I started my business and got out and started networking, around Houston, because I felt as though I needed to come offline. Come offline and, just network in my community.
Yes.
You're well known in the community because we have, traveled in different circles. Like last year we met at a different conference and then,
the Plan Her Conference.
The Plan Her Conference and then Queen Life's event. But you also helped Queen Life with Project Mona Lisa.
Yes.
I did too, but it was just on a different week.
Yes.
So we've been running in the same circles. But just recently, your work is known outside of Houston. I want you to know that. I know you said it's internationally, but I'm just gonna put confirmation on it because somebody reached out to me to do like a brand deal with them, and you were on that platform.
Really?
Yes. So I'm just like, wow. Like I'm like, this girl is just like everywhere. I'm so excited. I cannot wait for her to be on the show. So whatever it is you're doing, continue.
Thank you.
Continue to do it because your artwork is getting out there and it's obviously touching people, definitely inspiring people. Yeah. So
I guess I still can't wrap my mind around it, because when people see me and it's the most, it's the most fulfilling, emotion, and I just feel honored when people come across me and they're like, hey, you're that painter, and I've had people cry and I'm like, no, don't cry. It's okay. But for them to be able to share, I receive so many emails, so many DMs, so many, just people reaching out and letting me know how my work has impacted them. And, some people share personal stories and it's man, I know that this isn't me doing this. I know that God is using me and putting me in this position for me to touch other people, for them to get inspired. Like I said before, it's just I've encountered so many things that it's wow, it's bigger than me. This is not just about me, it's about everyone. And that's why I love to do it for the people. I want to be able to come back and teach the youth, teach creatives. I want to be able to give back, and I just see so much in the upcoming years that, you know, it's like I don't know where to start, but my spirit yearns for it. So it's like I know, like in due time, it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna make it happen because I can't settle for anything. Like I just have this fire. It's like I gotta get it.
Yeah. Please don't settle. Please continue to do what you do. You know what you just said is the reason for this show and the reason why I created this platform, because it's all about, you know, self-awareness, being who you are, and living your truth. Because I truly believe that each and every one of us was given a calling and a purpose on our life before we was even formed in our mother's womb. So there's a reason why we are here. There is somebody waiting on us to walk in our truth so they can receive their blessing. You know, and so Living Her Truth is just a platform where I'm able to share a lot of my self-awareness journey, but also bring other women into the conversation as well, because I recognize that, you know, the trauma that I have overcome is not necessarily everybody's story, but we all have a story, right? And we need to share that so we can motivate our fellow sisters to be who they are, because somebody is waiting on them, you know, to walk in their truth, and so they can receive their blessing. It's a circle. It's one big circle, and it's so important that we just love ourselves enough to, you know, present our authentic selves to the world. So thank you again for being on the show. Tell us how your artwork has played a role in you living your truth.
I think it's in my DNA. It's a calling. It's a purpose that I didn't even know until I embraced it. Because growing up, I just considered it a hobby. I picked up my first crayon at 3. You know, my mom still has pictures on the refrigerator where, you know, it's like, man, you did that at such a young age. But growing into that, it's a part of me. I mean, I've been through so much when it has came to trying to find this as to where I am now. So, you know, going through grade school, I've always been in art school, art class, excuse me. And, you know, I just remember there's this one time where I signed up for Art 1, and Mr. Butters, at Elsick High School, he had told me he was like, he's like, no ma'am, he's like, you have to go up to advanced art. So he put me in the advanced class. And I tapped in, I think that was my first time tapping into painting, but I never really just engulfed it until like literally like 5 years ago. I got distracted. I went to Sam Houston State for a Bachelor's of Fine Arts, and I could not concentrate out there. So I was like, I'm not to try to, you know, transfer it to TSU, but they didn't have that degree. So I kind of fell into the tattoo industry. And I think that's when I got derailed and distracted. And, you know, the things that I've experienced has definitely molded me into the young woman that I am today. But I can say, you know, it's a part of the journey. It's a part of the story. It's a part of, you know, the pages, the words in the book. So for the longest, I was very, very ashamed of my tattoos because of what I went through. But then I started to embrace it because I was like, you know, this is something that I'm going to have to share. You know, this is something that even is worldly, but when people see or, you know, understand me from within, then they can understand, you know, and appreciate my walk, my story that much more. So it's just things that I went through there. I've only shared this twice, and I do plan to do like a blog about it, and hopefully one day a book, and hopefully one day a documentary. But I know it sounds drastic, but I experienced spiritual warfare. You know, I was around devil worshipers, and at that time I was so naive. I didn't even know what I was surrounded by. I was more so curious as to why they do what they do, as to why do you think that way, and you know, why do you condemn God? And so my mom and my grandmother, they would pray like tall and heavy. That's how you know that if you ever got out of something, child, you know your mama and your grandma was praying over you.
Oh yeah.
So I was at the brink, like I was literally in the devil's den, and I just remember that day. In 2014, it was on a Thursday, May 8th, and I stepped outside, and I remember God telling me to turn around. He told me to make my choice. And mind you, on Thursday night, the church ain't open. So for some reason, the church next door was lit up, and the people on this side that I was working with at the tattoo shop, they were standing there. And I'll get into in depth more, but just the gist of the story is when I remember them saying, they was like, you look pathetic. It was like, you might as well come in. It was like, we already got your soul now. And right when they said that, I just went next door and I was telling the pastor like what I went through and what I just came out of, and he started praying over me, and I just could remember this old shedding falling off of me. And I was just praising God. I was just like, thank you, Jesus, for, because it brought me to where I am now, but like going through all that, like you say, trauma, like anxiety after experiencing all that, it took me a while to get to where I am. But knowing that there's people like that in the world, and then knowing that there's people like us in the world. Yeah. And so you need people like us to be able to shed that light so that young kids, whoever, you may not get misled by the false light. So once God took me from that lid before, the devil could snatch me, I started to embrace my calling and my purpose. And when I tell you, I just fell in love. And even at that time, I was working at Forever 21, and people like come to the register and they're like, hey, your work is dope. And it's like, okay, obviously I'm not supposed to be here, Right. So when I started like making more money doing what I love versus working a 9 to 5, I was like asking, my parents, like, should I make this leap of faith? And of course, going through what I went through with the tattoo industry and being the only child, they're like, no, baby, like, maybe you should have this a plan B, being very cautious.
Yeah.
But I spoke to my great-grandfather before he passed away, and I was telling him, like, I feel it tugging at my spirit, like, I need to make this leap of faith. I need to just jump. And, my grandfather was like, baby, he's like, go ahead and do it. So when I jumped, when I tell you I was flying and I landed, and I've been swimming ever since. I've been 3 years full time, and I can't give the credit to no one but God. So just looking at my work, like now just being, in this room, I still can't wrap my head around it because it's so surreal. So
thank you for sharing that.
No.
And I'm trying to keep my emotions under wrap. Because obviously I heard a lot more what you shared at the conference last year, so that's why I'm getting so emotional. But I can relate on so many different levels. The trauma that I experienced as a child was sexual abuse. I was sexually abused by my stepfather for 8 years, and so for 8 years I'm experiencing the sexual abuse. And I can remember one day, it was nighttime, I was laying in my bed, and I was just like, why me, God? Like, why me? And mind you, I didn't grow up having a spiritual foundation. We didn't go to church. Like, we didn't go to church on, like, Easter. Like, we just didn't, because my mom didn't go to church, but my grandmother, would take me to church when I was younger, but she died when I was really young. So, she died right before the sexual abuse happened. So I had an idea of who God was, just a little bit, because, they say that the Bible says that all you need is the faith the size of a mustard seed. Right. So I'm laying in my bed, and I'm just like, why me, God? Just why me? And I never forget it. I heard the voice, as if we sit here talking today, say, why not you? And I just felt this peaceful calm come over me. Now at the time I had no idea what that meant, right? But I just felt this peace, this calm come over me. And not too long after that, I can't remember the time frame, the sexual abuse came to an end because I had the courage to speak up and tell somebody outside of the family what was going on. And that's when the sexual abuse pretty much stopped. And so I was lucky enough where my stepfather was tried and found guilty, and he actually, served time in prison for the sexual abuse. But that whole journey was just, so traumatic. Around the time where he went off to jail, I suffered another traumatic loss. My sister, who's like 6-7 months younger than me, was murdered, and she was 8 months pregnant. And so growing up in the projects, I'm the oldest of like 12 sisters and brothers. I'm the oldest. And so growing up in the projects, right outside Chicago, we didn't have an example of success. Like there's a lot of talent in Chicago, and in my neighborhood, there was a lot of athletes, but they would go off to school, but then they always came back. And I noticed that when they came back, they never left again. So we didn't have that example of success. And when my sister was murdered, I took it upon myself to be the example of success that my siblings needed. And so it's so crazy because when, I graduated from high school, I did a year in college in Chicago, but I just had this uneasy feeling that just wouldn't go away, that I needed to leave. Because I literally felt that if I was staying in Chicago, that I would have died. I literally felt that. And so that's when I made the decision to leave. And I went to Atlanta and went to school at Clark University. But, my self-awareness journey pretty much started at that point when I made the decision to leave. And along my self-awareness journey, I rediscovered God. Because in order to know who I am, I need to know who He was. Right. And I'll never forget, further down along my journey, I went through therapy, and God, He put the right people in my path to mentor me and to help me to get the help that I needed. Because, no knock to my mom, I love her to death, but you can't teach somebody what you don't know. Right? And so God lined it up, and He put the right people, in my life at the time, and I was able to get therapy and started going to church. I accepted God, as my Lord and Savior. But I'm not saying that, it was just all peaches and cream at that time, because there was still some up and down. So I was in the church. I was in the church and I was out of the church. But I never forget the day where I was at church in Atlanta, and the pastor said, to bring whatever troubles you had and come put it on the altar. And on a piece of paper, I wrote down sexual abuse. And I went to the altar and I left it on the altar. And when I tell you, a weight had been lifted.
There's a chain broken.
I was healed in that moment. And and this is the second time that I have shared that particular part of my story, because I have held it to myself, because I'm like, I don't know how people would take that. Like, really?
Insane. But that's why we go through those things. And not to interrupt, but you sharing that and saying that God spoke to you and saying, why not you? You don't understand. Look what you're doing now.
Yes.
Right? We may not understand it then, but it aligns to where we're supposed to be now. And then not even knowing, our mind can't even fathom where He's going to take us next. So who says that you're not going to be that motivational speaker to talk to those young girls or talk to those women that went through those same things? And you, because you made it out as a warrior, as a strong woman, you're a living example for them. So they'll be looking up to you and saying, man, if she can make it through, then I can make it through.
And that's the whole purpose for doing what it is that I'm doing right now today. And thank you for that. I really appreciate that. I don't take that lightly. I take that to heart. But I never shared that part of my story before, but I just felt the need to share that, right now, because I want you to know that you're not alone. right? And I'm so happy that you chose to embrace your purpose. You know, because for a long time, I fought this.
Really?
This right here, yes, I fought this. My dream was to always become the next Perry Mason.
What?
So what brought me to Houston was law school. I got accepted and attended third Marshall School of Law. So that was the whole purpose of me coming to Houston for years. You know, I've always wanted to be, you know, the next Perry Mason. And I joke and tell people all the time that in 6th grade I already had a client list because that's how much people. Yes, like that's how much, you know, people like invest in me and believe that I will become, you know, this attorney. But you know, I go to law school and I do a year and I decided not to go back because I felt like I had did that, been there, done that. I felt like I had to check the box, like Michelle Obama was saying. I felt like I was able to check the box. But the one thing that stayed constant was me sharing my story. Because before I was even healed, God had me speaking to children and telling them about my story. As soon as I went to Atlanta, not even, a couple of months within that same semester, I became a speaker with a nonprofit, sharing my story to children and adults about the signs of sexual abuse. And so, like, from that point forward, I found myself in different situations sharing my story, you know, because for whatever reason, people find it really easy to talk to me, you know? And people will sit down and tell me all their business, right? And I would just share with them, well, this is what I've been through. And if I can get over that, you can definitely walk into the boss's office and ask for that raise that you're over here, you know, complaining to me about.
Right.
So it was that one thing that has always been constant, you know? And I started a photography business. That didn't last long because I, you know, realized I like to be in front of the camera as opposed to behind the camera. But it wasn't until I embraced my purpose that everything just fell into place.
That's amazing.
And it just feels amazing.
Yeah.
And I get the chance to have conversations like this with beautiful women like you know, in a way where it's easy, you know, and it's motivating other women to just be themselves. So, yeah.
I think it's hard when there's so much in the world that sets an example of, oh, this is how you're supposed to be, or, oh, you need to carry yourself this way, or, oh, you have to appear, you know, to be this way. And that's where women lose themselves because we're competing against what society thinks is acceptable. But once you shut the world out and find out the truth within yourself and meditate on who you are, then that's when it's like you have that confidence about you. No matter what it is that you do, it's that sense of security that I know who I am. I'm a queen. You know, I can share my truths without, you know, being ashamed of it, being, you know, embarrassed or anything. I mean, you definitely, it's just like you have this walk about you and you know who you are.
Oh my goodness.
And so I feel like when you share stories like this and being able to be transparent in such a way, it gives that next person, that next woman, that type of courage to come forth and to find out her own story or her own truth. So,
and to also acknowledge and face the trauma. There's a lot of shame and embarrassment behind trauma, especially sexual abuse.
Yes.
You know, especially spiritual warfare. You know, first off, people don't even like talking about it. Let's start there.
Yeah.
So to go through that and to, you know, share your story, you're right, it takes a lot. It takes a lot, but I promise you, whatever trauma you have gone through, I need for you to face it and get the help that you need. That's why I am here as your sister coach. You know, the whole reasoning for starting the Sister's Truth is because I wanted to create what I needed at the time. Because, you know, once I was further along my self-awareness journey and started to heal from the sexual abuse, you know, at some point, you know, once I decided not to go back to law school, I had no idea what I was going to do. Because my whole life was all about being an attorney. But when I did the inner work, because when I decided to go back to law school, I thought this was a phase I was going through. You know, this is just a fluke. Let me just take some time off. I just need to get my head together because law school is cutthroat. Okay? And so when I did the inner work, I realized that, you know, being Perry Mason wasn't really a dream that was mine, if you would. My mom absolutely positively loved Perry Mason growing up.
Really?
Yeah, she loved it. And so me wanting to be Perry Mason, that was my way of getting my mom to love me just a little bit more to stop the sexual abuse. So it was never really my authentic dream and desire. It was something that a goal that I created out of necessity. You know, when I was a survivor role, as you will. So when I decided to not go back to law school, I was completely lost. I didn't know what to do, you know. And so Sister's Truth, you know, launching a Sister's Truth and being a sister coach is my way of being that support system for another sister who's in that same situation. Somebody who's just going to journey with you, jump in the trenches with you, and focus on you and your purpose and helping you to embrace it, because you know what it is. But you just need to embrace it. And it can be something as simple as artwork. Now, this doesn't look simple. She make it look, you know, she make it look easy.
Girl, it ain't easy.
But like you said earlier, it was a hobby. So you just, you know, viewed it as a hobby. And it's those small things, those natural talents that we have that's tied to our purpose, but we tend to overlook it because it's so simple and so easy.
Okay. So have you ever, like, younger, like you said, people are always natural to talk to you and share with you. Have you had any inkling of idea, like, this is where you would be, or like God giving you a glimpse of like putting you in this position now? Like, were you talking to people in school and just like, you know, figuring out their problems and stuff like that? No,
I wasn't. That's the crazy thing. You know, as a child, I was real quiet and reserved because of what I was experiencing during the time. And so the one thing I did not do was smile. I did not smile. I always had a frown and a scar on my face. And that was me in survival mode, because I didn't want my stepfather to think that I was happy. Because to me, I felt as though if he thought that I was happy, then he would think that I was okay with grades. And so I didn't want to give him no inclinations of that. So I was like really reserved to myself, but I was that cool kid that could befriend anybody and could pretty much go into any crowd and, you know, fit right on in, you know. But this right now, I had no idea, you know. I had no idea.
Well,
it's something
big.
Thank you.
I do. I see something.
I received that.
Yes, girl. I mean, I'm talking about probably next Oprah sitting on with whole shows for real. And I love that because I'm big on like energy and like just sensing, and I feel like, you know, your genuine spirit and just being that open, you know, it allows people to be able to be that open with you. And sometimes, like I say before I get on camera, I'm like, real, but I'm glad that I can be just calm and collective with you. So
thank you. That's a hidden talent that I didn't know was there until I started doing this, to be 100% honest with you. But I will say this. The day I opened up my mouth and told someone outside of the family what was going on, and she listened to me and helped me out, I never stopped talking about it.
Really? That's good.
And it is so crazy because, like I said, before I even went through the healing process, God had me speaking to children. After that point, it had become easy for me to talk about it and share my story. It almost became natural.
I feel like that's where the glimpse came in, though. That's where
what it is.
Yeah, that's where I think that's where he was setting you up for this moment and still building you up to bigger things. So,
and because I was fighting, I couldn't see it at the time. At that time,
yeah.
So it's so crazy how, you know, sharing my story has always been a part of me, and that's how I know it's a part of it's my purpose.
Yes.
To share.
Yes.
And whatever it is for you guys, I need you to pay attention to what that is, because it's a part of your purpose. You know, I think one of the reasons why we may not embrace our purpose?
Fear,
absolutely. And isolation. Because your purpose will set you apart from everybody else. It's supposed to do that. Because what you can do uniquely, you're the only person who can uniquely do that thing. Right? And so our life experiences, relationship, all these things that we encounter on our journey, we want to fit in, especially depending on what it is that you have gone through. A traumatic experience like, sexual abuse or workplace bullying, which is what we talked about recently, spiritual warfare. We just want to feel included, right? And so I think that's another reason why we may not just embrace our purpose initially, because we just want to fit in and feel loved, feel accepted, to the masses.
When we take a step outside of that circle and we start to embrace that purpose, then you start to see the small amount of people that are like-minded like you, that you tend to attract, that can put you in that next level, that, you can learn a thing or two. You can share some gems and they share some gems, and, you don't know where that will take you. So, I say don't be afraid of that beast standing in front of you. Face it and know that you will overcome, because you're equipped to overcome. You're a conqueror. You're a victor. So, you just have to have that type of faith and that type of strength within yourself, and know and be confident, like, I can do this. Anything that you've been facing, that you've been trying to avoid, if you just embrace it, like you say, and take a moment and figure out, how can I knock this wall down? Even if it starts with just a little chisel here. Before you know it, that wall will be out your way and you can continue to walk down that path that is made for you. So,
and it may take a little while to knock down that wall, but that's okay. It is a journey, you guys. It's a journey, but take the time that's needed for you, to get to the place where you want to be. Because like Brionya said, you are already equipped to get through it and to grow through it and to get over it. I promise you. Because growing up, to be completely honest, growing up in the projects, with sister being murdered, at 17, I didn't see myself past 30. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I did not see myself past 30. So to get to 30, it was just like, it was a celebration. I got butt naked and together.
Are you serious? Hey, I would have too, girl. I would have too, but that is crazy to think that way. But I'm glad that you're still here and celebrating life, because obviously, God didn't take you out then. You have a purpose. Your mission is not completed here. So, you keep doing what you do, girl. I'm just glad I get to be a part of it.
Thank you, girl. I received that. Yes. So the beautiful artwork that we see here around the room, do you think self-awareness helped you to create any of these pieces? Do you think self-awareness comes out in your work?
Yes, of course. I try not to do too much like detrimental pieces where it's like, I'm not gonna say like political or like, just really controversial, but I have a couple here and there, but I think I focus more so on like imaginative and like getting people into that dream-like type of world where it's like, dang, like that's what we look like, or to morph like our people into such ways where it shows like I am beautiful. I am loved. I do look like a queen. I do look like a king. So I try to capture those moments because if you don't know, majority of my work is Black art, and we've had discussions before of if I should branch out, and that's why I do universal work. But I focus more so on Black art because I feel like our people are oppressed in so many ways, and it has caused this type of mentality of where our people feel like they aren't enough, that they aren't beautiful, that they're less than. So when they see my work, I want them to see I am, I am this person, I am this beautiful. And so I think that plays a part of myself too, because it's like, I'm not just a Black woman, or I'm not just, the mad Black woman. Like, I am a queen, and I have talent, and I'm gonna let that light shine. And, I want to be able to share that with the world, because I feel like everyone should see how beautiful they are. So, self-awareness, man, there's so many pieces. I have like over 100 pieces, literally.
Wow.
I have 80 pieces that are available, but like over this duration of just being full-time and just selling work, I probably have like at least over 150 or so spread out across the world. So it's just like, I know I know that's not where it stops, but if you look at each piece, I know it doesn't just have, I just threw something together.
Oh, no.
Like a part of it has emotion, a part of it has where you can relate to it. So I sit back and I look at them sometimes, and I'm like you can walk in a house. Like I hear the stories all the time where people walk in the house and they look at the same piece and it speaks to them in a different way. So I'll be at home and I'll be like, chilling on the couch, and I'll look at a piece that I'm working on right now, and I'm like, man, like it just speaks to me in a different way each time. So I say that it's from the spirit, because I'll sit back and I'll work on something and I'm like, that didn't come from me. Like, I don't even know how I just created that. How did I know to put those colors together? So, girl, I don't know. I can't even take it all in. It's still so surreal each time, each piece, each experience in life, moments like this, I'm like, Lord, I don't know what you got for me, but I'm trying to take it all and trying to be appreciative and grateful.
And thankfully you're following his plan, because like you said earlier, we can't even fathom what he has in store for us. And if it's left to our own devices, we probably won't even do a quarter of what it is that God has, planned for us.
Right.
And I hate that somebody asked you if you was going to branch out. That's a whole other episode. But I feel like why do we have to branch out?
Right.
Like, why do we have to?
Or the question of, why do you always paint Black people? Why not? What? You don't ask a Caucasian or a Latin person why they paint who they paint. I want to paint people that look like me. I relate to them best. Girl, don't get me excited with that. But yeah,
that's a whole other conversation. Another conversation for another day, because I even had a coach tell me to switch up the pictures on my website.
No.
Yes. And told me that the name of my company comes across as only, attracted to or trying to attract Black women.
But that's who you target. First of all, I'm not too big on just statistics on, the races of who deals with mental issues the most, but Black people deal with mental issues the most. And I feel like if you want to be that coach to reach out to our sisters and help them, if nobody else will, don't knock me for doing my job.
And we got money.
Right.
We got money too. Right?
Exactly. But you ain't gonna understand where I'm coming from, because you ain't been through the same background that I went through.
Yeah.
So how you gonna sit here and tell me this is why I'm acting the way that, or this is why I think the way that I think? If you don't know what I know, child, absolutely. I'm not trying to hear that.
So a whole other episode.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, that's a whole other conversation.
I know, because I can see myself getting excited.
Yeah, I hate when people ask that question. So her question for you.
Yes.
Which painting is your favorite? You knew it was coming.
I can't tell you which painting is my favorite. Within this room,
within this room.
I would have to say Protector.
This one right here?
Yes. Protector. I love all my babies. All of them they're like my kids. But with Protector, it actually came from a freestyle that my fiance said, and he was like, I'm the clam, she's the pearl, and basically it kind of curated into this, but also it was my not first time, but really second time playing with oils. So I was really proud of myself for it to actually come out that way, because I was like, man, these oils, I'm really getting used to them. So I was really proud of myself with that, just from the detail and just looking at it. I know that it speaks embracing your purpose, as well as expecting mothers. I know that they see it as having that first child or having a newborn baby. So that's a lot of things, but that has a poem to it as well. I can't think of it. I'm not a spoken word person, so I can't just think of it at the top of my head. But majority of the pieces have poems on there, so you will be able to read that poem to it, so that you can connect with it that much more.
I love it. You know, I love all of your work. This mural that's behind us, I absolutely love that. That's the reason why we're, in front of it, because I want everybody to see. Yes. But I would have to say the one that I'm constantly drawn to is this one over here.
Really? Adjacent?
I'm just drawn to that painting.
Is it because of the mixed media with the beads, or just
the beads, the braids? She's beautiful, and the high cheekbones. I love the flowers in her hair. I love the hairstyle. I just love everything about it. I'm just drawn to it.
Now I'm gonna say I had fun with that one, but I think I did, but I did that because I just wanted to kind of touch base into like our hair, and embracing like our intricacy that we can do with our hair. So if you see, like, majority of our pieces have natural hair, and just even with the braids, I was just like, man, if I could do this, like, I'm gonna put it together. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have that much time to finish it, as to why I created that drip effect. But if I had like another month, I would have literally did each braid piece down the center. But when I seen that, I was like, it's kind of dope. It's different. So I fell in love with it. But I mean, all of them, I could tell you, I could literally name each piece. If we go back all the way to 2014, I could literally name the title to each piece.
Oh yeah, I definitely love it. And maybe because I had a similar hairstyle when I first came to see your show.
Really?
That's the reason why I was drawn to it.
Yes.
And then once I decided to big chop and go natural, I wore a lot of flowers in my hair.
Really?
Yeah.
When did you big chop? Your hair
2008. Thank you.
Yeah.
2008.
What?
Yeah.
Girl, I cut mine like 6 times already. I'm just trying to let it grow out now. Houston will do it to you. Unless you they do a lot of natural styles, but the cute shortcut, and then it's just like when you get in that chia pet stage, it's like I'm ready to let it get big.
And that's when I braided it up and put it in the sew in.
Same protective styles. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much for sitting down and having a conversation with me tonight.
Thank you so much.
Tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram. Oh, that's another story too. I got hacked the first time, so I had to start over. So it's not Brionya James anymore. Someone stole my name after that. And you can actually find me at Godtaughtartist. Instagram name at Godtaughtartist. Facebook Brionya James. YouTube Brionya James. And if you don't know how to spell my name, it's Brionya, last name James, as well as BrionyaJames.com and BrionyaJames.shop to check out all the beautiful pieces. And one may be able to speak to you, so check me out, y'all.
Yeah, definitely check her out, you guys. You're gonna absolutely love her work if this is your first time meeting her. Behind Instagram, let somebody say no name though. Let me digress for a second.
Child,
really
long story. I was at a whopping 106 supporters. Now that God set me straight real quick, because before then I was like, oh, they're just followers. Like when people be like, oh my gosh, it's like, no, they're just followers. It's not that serious. When I got hacked and all those followers disappeared and my money that was income, child, when I tell you now, I'm appreciative of all the people that follow and keep up and support, whether it's word of mouth, whether it's actually investing in original or buying a canvas print. Thank y'all. But in the process of trying to get the original page back, I had to change my name so that they can keep it available, and somebody ended up turning around and making another page and stealing my name.
Oh my goodness.
So
I'm about to make sure that I'm following you at Godtaughtartist.
Godtaughtartist.
Because I don't think I am. I think I still been tagging Brionya James. So I'm going to make sure.
They blocked me too and everything.
Yeah, that's some nerve. But no worries. I have everything correct in the description box so you can reach out and connect to Brionya and buy one of these beautiful pieces.
Yes.
Please do. And in the Houston area is a week left, so definitely come and see the artwork in person. I promise you, you will not regret it. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in on tonight. If you need help with overcoming any of the issues that we talked about tonight, or you just need to, talk to someone, just need a pep talk, please reach out to your sister coach at sisterstruth.com, because that is the reason why I am here. I am here for you because I want you to thrive and live your purpose-driven life, because you deserve that, and I know you desire it. And I'm here to help you get to the desires of your heart. So, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.